Teachers, what is the worst thing you've seen a student do? I taught at a Title I high school in the city. My classes were a mix of kids, some driven, some drifting, some just surviving. There was one student in my third period government class who stood out, not because he was loud or defiant, but because of how disinterested he seemed in everything. I'll call him Darren. Darren had the kind of intelligence that shows itself in moments. He'd answer one of the tougher questions on the civics test with a perfect response, and then fall back into silence for the rest of the week. He slept through most of my lectures, barely turned in homework, and spent a lot of time staring at the window like he wasn't really in the room. I tried to talk to him a few times, encouraged him to stay after school for extra help, but he'd always shrug me off or say he had to leave. Most of the other teachers had already written him off. He doesn't care, they'd say. Too lazy to bother. I wasn't sure what to believe. There was something guarded about him. One Friday night, I went out with some friends for a late dinner and didn't get back toward my part of town until after 11 o'clock p.m. I stopped by the Wawa near the freeway for gas and a coffee. I was standing in line trying to keep my eyes open when I heard someone behind the register say, "Next." I looked up and there he was, Darren. Hair a little messy under the brim of a hat, tired eyes, same slouched posture as in class. For a second, neither of us said anything. I don't even think he was embarrassed, just kind of nodded at me. I asked, "Hey, you work here?" He shrugged. "Yeah, 4 nights a week." It hit me all at once. He wasn't lazy, he was exhausted. The kid worked until midnight 4 days a week. I paid and left, but I couldn't stop thinking about it on the drive home. The following Monday, I pulled him aside after class. I told him I'd seen him at Wawa, and he didn't even blink. Just said, "Yeah, gotta help my mom with rent." I didn't pry. He wasn't looking for pity. But I asked if he needed any help catching up in class, and he just said, "Not really, I'll figure it out." He wasn't rude, just tired, worn thin. Over the next few months, I paid closer attention. Darren never talked much, but he listened more than I realized. He started staying awake more in class, even answering a few more questions. His writing improved. He passed every test, barely, but still passed. One morning, I walked in early and found him asleep at his desk before the first bell. It was barely 7 a.m. I didn't wake him, just turned the lights low and let him be. When the class came in, I asked them to keep it down. Nobody asked why. I never told the others about his job. They wouldn't have cared. In their minds, he was another student who didn't try. On the last day of school, I gave him back his final paper with a B+ on it. He gave me a small smile and said, "For not giving up." That was it. No long speech, no big gesture. But it stuck with me. I don't know where he is now. I hope he's okay. I hope life got easier for him. I've had students cheat, fight, scream, even throw desks. But the worst thing I've seen a student do was be forced to grow up too early. Not by choice, but by necessity. Darren wasn't failing school. School was failing him.